Okay, so I think I can start. I'm gonna share my screen and clean up my desktop. Okay. Okay, so Vator, did you finish your C2M file? Because Snoopy did not. I asked him before.
Let me check. Let me check something so I can,
Okay, because the part we're gonna be doing today will require you to have finished the C2M part. So, I mean, you can start doing it like without the terrain finished, but it's gonna be hard to go back to like add more trees when you're gonna like be deeply into scripting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the worst part would be if you like don't have all the buildings, like you would like to add some new building and then merge it with the current progress of the scripts. But the trees wouldn't be that bad.
At worst, it will be okay, so don't worry. I'm just looking where I put it. I forgot. Give me a moment.
So you're ready?
I'm searching for my C2M.
Up your first time, right? You haven't done anything yet. Sorry, he's probably Polish or don't have a mic. Okay, so like this meeting is like quite advanced, so I would recommend you watch everything that's in on YouTube, because you wouldn't get much of it. What I'm gonna be saying now, because like this is like more than half of the course is already behind us. Like it's gonna be quite difficult for you to understand, I think, if you don't have like any tangible experience from the previous meetings. But you can stay here, that's fine. Okay, so are you guys ready now?
I just don't know where my C2M is.
Okay.
I just hope I didn't.
I also have some exemplary file to start with, which I did in like 10 minutes. I'm gonna be showing you the examples of.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's so small, but yeah, I did it like for the purpose of this meeting. To show you, for example, how to make a fifth player or something like that.
Okay, but I don't know where it is. I'm like, what the fuck?
It should be the folder user maps. If you're like by default saving it somewhere.
But it isn't there, so I'm like, what the fuck?
Maybe you can try to find it via File Explorer from the editor. It sometimes glitches out, and you can see it only there. Check if that's the case for you. I mean, if you don't have like many maps installed, you can always search through a directory for C2M file.
You know what? I have another from Culture 2 map. Okay,
But it would be better for you to have your own, or maybe you would need to repeat all that stuff for later for your own map if you don't have your own now.
Technically, it's not my own, but it's a C2M file.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I understood it incorrectly. I thought you said that it's from Cultures 2, like C2.
Okay, I found it. Oh my god, yes. Okay, I found it. Maybe just do a copy. Because if we modify it and then I can.
Yeah, it's good to make a backup of your C2M now.
Yeah.
If you have one. Snoopy 2. Yeah.
Okay, you know why I couldn't find it? Because it's in a copy of a copy of a copy of a folder.
Okay.
Yeah, I put
Yeah.
this.
Okay, so you guys are now ready. I can start.
Yep. Yes.
Okay, so assuming you did everything on time, we should be at the point when you have like finished C2M and C2E file with all the stuff that my friends taught you a week ago and 2 weeks ago. So like you have all the terrain finished, all the buildings of the all the people, and everything that can be done in the editor is finished. That's the point from where we're starting today. And today I'm gonna be
Mhm.
showing you more of the technical stuff, how to maybe make something interactive, how to make tributes, maybe offers for like paying to the AI and stuff, and so on. So I have a short presentation with more like the IT stuff. So first of all, like
Mhm.
we need to have C2M file. That's obvious. Just keep in mind that we have those file somewhere. C2E is not so important if you have a finished map. If you still want to modify your C2M, you should keep C2E somewhere. But once you're finished, you just need C2M and that's all. That's the only file which
Okay.
is gonna be important today.
Okay.
So in general, in like computer science, there are three operations which we can do with files regarding like modding of the games usually. The first such type of operation is extraction. So this is basically everything that you do with zip files, rar files, 7-zip files, and so on. This is the process where you start with some file and you end up with some folder or multiple files. This is the first type extraction. Like it's quite common you download something, you extract it, that's the first type of operation. The second type of operation is conversion. This is quite similar but not so. The beginning is the same. You need to have a file as an input, but your output is different. This time you have as an output different file. So for example, conversion from PNG to JPEG or docs to PDF is a like common conversion in a on a computer. That's the second type of operation. And the third one, which is not so important for mapping, is more important for modding. It's packing, so it's the reverse of extraction. So we start with a folder or multiple files, and we pack it together to one file. And it's important to like have those three categories in mind when we're talking about mapping in cultures, particularly scripts. So if you have like a C2M file, what would you expect from this is that maybe we can convert it somewhere. We can use maybe this part to turn it into a different file which you can open in text editor and then edit, but that's not true. Like people usually say that you can convert C2M to that. That's a common phrase, but it's not entirely true. We're gonna be extracting this file. This is like the first important fact for today. C2M is actually an archive. So you can think about it not as a text file, for example, or some PNG or something like that. You should think about C2M file as it would be a zip file, but with some strange magic inside. So this is an archive. And if you want to extract it, the best tool, the most recent one, is in CN mode 1.3.1, and you have like the application converters exe, which I wrote for Yosenkov for the purpose of this modification. And this should look like this. This is a small window. You have a drop-down menu, and the conversion we're interested in now is the almost the last one, extract C2M lib cultures 2 or greater. We're gonna use this conversion on our C2M file, which I have here. As an input file, we select our C2M file. Sorry, misclick. And as an output, we can select the same directory. Maybe I'm gonna select desktop just for the sake of clarity. And now we extracted C2M. So what's inside this? There are only one folder called current user maps. It's inside C2M, and there are two files, mapcif and mapdat. This is the first part of the operation which you're gonna do after finishing C2M, just extracting it to this form. Later I'm gonna show you how to do this different way, how most people do it, but I'm doing it this way. It's more elegant from the mathematical point of view because we know what's going step by step. The second part is that you can convert mapcif to mapini. Basically, whenever you see .cif in cultures, This is exactly the same as map.ini, but with applied cipher. Like Cultures developers decided it would be a good idea to apply a cipher to a file so people cannot read it. And this cipher was broke in 2009, and we have now a conversion sieve to ini. It's the same for Cultures 1, Cultures 2, so there's only one. It's like it should be like the default one. And this is not an extraction. Extraction was what we did now, but now we're going to the second step, conversion. So I'm gonna convert this sieve, map sieve, to map.ini file. We can save it in the same, it should be saved in the same location as map.ziv. And once it's converted, we can delete map.ziv. Because we can convert it back always, it's the same conversion. Map.ini to ziv are like bidirectionally interchangeable. We can change one to another, that's not gonna change anything. And now we have map.ini file, and we can open it with the text editor. That's like the second step. So firstly, we extracted C2M to dat and ziv, and now we converted ziv to ini. And we by now have this text file, which we can edit and do something with it. And the third part is that we can split map.ini into multiple enc files. This presentation is in like chaotic order, so I'm gonna jump further.
Sure.
We're talking in English in this meeting. Sorry,
Okay, no problem.
So the next part is that when we have an ini file, we can split it into multiple enc files. And to understand it better, there are like two commands which we can use in those files, and this is define and include. Basically, what they does, imagine that you have this kind of file, test.ini, like here in the top left corner. Or maybe I should say how ini files are structured. So as you can see, sorry for that topic change. I'm gonna firstly tell you how ini files are structured. So basically, when we have like a special line, it always starts and ends with the square brackets. And that is the beginning of the section. It does not need to end. Like the only section which has an ending declared is logic control. This is like the exception, but you can usually think about them as some shelves. So this is one shelf in a library, this is another one, and so on. And they, despite having like the same name, they differ. They have like a hidden index. So this is mission data with the hidden index 0. This is mission data with the hidden index 1, and so on. So similarly here, this is like player misc with the hidden index 0, and there are no more sections like that. So it's the only section is with index 0. So each section is defined by its name, but because the names can like duplicate, they have hidden indices behind them. And then we have like the names of the variables which we're gonna be using, and some arguments. So this can be thought as some subsection on a shelf, so maybe boxes in a shelf in a library. And what's next can be thought as items inside those boxes. So this is called section, entire of this, or maybe entire something like that. That's one big section here. One line is called an entry. This part is called a key, and all of those parts are called arguments. And this is basically how the whole scripting in Cultures works. You have sections, keys, values or arguments, and this is structured as some lines which are called entries. And that's basically everything, except there are two commands, which is define and include. So let's say we have this kind of file. There's like some exemplary file, we have only one section. There are 3 entries. Keys are called entry 1, entry 2, and entry 3. And there are some random arguments which I wrote. So what we can do, we can define some variable. Let's look now here when the arrow downwards points. We can define that maybe the variable called value1 will be equal to this string, some text. And then in the entry 2, we see we have this string there. We can replace it with this value. So this is the syntax. We write hash, define, then it's a convention to write it in caps always, like the name of the variable. Then some value. It could be string, it could be a number, it could be a floating point number. Floating point numbers are rarely used here. They are more common in modding, but in mapping it's gonna be always like an integer and or string. And if we have this kind of test ini file, it's exactly the same as this one, except we have an explicitly defined variable. Like maybe if you have some experience in programming, you can think about this as this being a raw code that does something, but this is like a more structured one when we give names to things, what it means. So this is the definition of the variable, basically. And similarly, there's a second command called include. We can split our file into multiple files. So basically, let's say I don't want this file to be too long because there are 3 entries and that's too much for my hypothetical monitor. I want there to be only 3 lines, not 4. So what I can write is like include command and then write a file path to different file, which should be enc, not ini. Ini is only the main file. And then in the enc file, I can write the rest of the file. And we can split our ini file thematically into different enc files based on what they are like about. This is basically like the whole structure of ini files. So you have sections, entries, those 2 comments define include, and that's like the whole syntax. The thing beneath is the meaning, and we're gonna be talking about it now. So technically we can like split it into multiple files, but that would be time consuming. There are like a lot of sections, and there's another application which can do all of this for us, and it's called C2M Converter exe. And this one app, it's like really old app. It requires Java to be launched. So if you don't have Java, you just need to install it to launch it. Personally, I don't use it. I like to write the stuff all in one file. You can write it like that. But most of people say this is like inefficient. They don't like this style and they divide it into 6 files. And this converter not only divided, but it also performs automatically those 2 first steps. So it's called C2M converter because it technically converts our C2M file to some different multiple files. But by those definitions, this is not a conversion. It's a pedantic detail, but you need to remember, or at least I would say it's important, that this is not a converter. This is some kind of combination of extractor and converter. I think I wrote it here. Yeah, that's a good masking for a typo which I made before. So basically, let's see how this works. You need the C2M file for it, as for the previous stuff. So it takes as an input C2M file. We can open it, and we need to like navigate manually there. It's quite of painful because you need to like go from your documents manually there. Cultures mode 1.3.1, and it's user maps, and it's C2M map. And now we can save it whenever we want. I'm gonna do it on the desktop. And this basically they did all of the things which we would have here, but now we have those additional files. So like I'm gonna use this. That's gonna be good. Like you can see, that file is exactly the same. We can use something like winmerge to actually tell us that this is exactly the same file. Or I'm gonna. No, I think you trust me. This is exactly the same file. I don't want to test it because that's gonna launch some third-party application, which is unnecessary. And map.ini is quite different. This one is much smaller because its content is split across all of those files. If you would open it, you can actually see there are like the beginning is exactly the same. This is logic control. I'm gonna talk about this line later in a moment, but logic control is exactly the same. And then we have firstly mission enc. We include this. Maproot is basically like the relative file folder of the our map. So we always start paths writing from this phrase $maproot$. And now if we're gonna go to the mission enc, you can see exactly this stuff, except this file also adds some white spaces. This is unnecessary. But yeah, it's like the same thing as thing here in this example, but with more entries. So just tell me, is it clear? Because I might be a little bit chaotic. Do you understand what's going on with this include and define stuff?
Yes, I get it.
Okay.
To include, I. Okay, never mind.
Okay, and there's also one really important file which we're gonna include there, because if you would go to some map written by an original developer in the game, I'm gonna show you how it differs from the one which people usually create. So I think there might not be any. I'm gonna show you the fortress should be here, the dark castle. I mean, not sure how it would called. How was it called in Polish? Oh, I'm gonna go to Eighth Wonder. That's gonna be more convenient. So this is like the Lantern from Pharos map. It has like regular numbers, everything that we expected here to be. But if we would go to something that people created, like for example, I'm gonna go to some map from Cultures Mode 1.3.1, maybe to Return of Gato. I don't know if you guys played it. But if we would now go to the mission, no, that's not a good example, but maybe player, you can see all of those hash values there. Like predefined, there is a really long list of predefined values which are used for writing scripts. If you would try to see the same thing in like Alexandria, for example, the definition of the player data, for example, phrase, those are just pure numbers. And when you have like 0110, it's hard to tell what this means. But when you have like hash values, you know, oh, this is human, this is Viking, it is blue, and it's player 0. So this file basically, it was where it was. This one, game root data game source includes logic defines ENC. This is some file which you can find in most of modifications. It is, as the path says, it's in the folder data, game source includes, and logic defines. And this is like a whole lot of definitions which game uses. So you don't need to like, oh, what was the number 5? What was the meaning of it? You can always like check in this file it, or just write the whole hash string. So this is like the many people included from the at the beginning of this file, like the beginning here, because yeah, it's really easier for them to write text instead of numbers. But for me, this is like not so necessary, because if you're creating map for Eighth Wonder, this file isn't here by default. It was like it's a long story how it was stolen from Germans, but the default game does not have it. And if you would use this file in your map, you would need to like tell people to download it from our website. So this is the additional step for newbies to play a map. If you want to make your map more accessible, I would recommend to not use this file. But I'm probably the only one who does not use it. Like if you would go to one of my maps, it was where it was Oasis of Plenty. It's mine. I don't use this file at all. I like to write in this style my map. So it makes my map independent from this file, and it makes it work on vanilla Eighth Wonder without any like additional definitions. So it's up to you. Do you want to like use those definitions or not? I'm gonna be using it for the purpose of this tutorial because most people use it, and I think that's more intuitive for newcomers.
But I mean, it's just translations.
What?
It's just translation. It's just a text that represents a number.
Yeah, it's like the
Not,
names of the variables. This is the define command, just repeated
Yes.
a lot of times. Yeah, but
Yes, so you can just use the numbers and it works very well.
yeah, you can use the numbers, but then you can encounter something like I was showing before. Like here, you might have a lot of numbers, and you might forgot what was the meaning of the one on the third position. And if instead of those numbers you would use text, it's gonna be more clear for you what this value represents. Like it represents that the human is a.
I completely understand. I was just saying whether if someone, for example, someone new who isn't on the Discord watches the tutorial, it's nice for them to know that they have both ways to do. And it's not because right now you're going to explain how to do it with those values that they can't use the numbers.
Yeah,
Am I clear?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there are two ways. You can either use numbers or you can use text, and there's no consensus because like two of the big technical mappers today are I think me and Yosenkov, and Yosenkov is really strongly for using only text, and I am really strongly for using only numbers. And all of the people, other people are between us somewhere. Yeah, but I'm gonna be
But
using text. What?
it's important for others outside of our group to know that both are usable and both are swappable in some way.
Yeah, exactly. Both of them have some like pros and cons.
Okay.
Okay, I opened a lot of files and I'm trying to. I'm already lost. I should close most of them. So I'm gonna assume you have like those file. Which version would you guys prefer for me to continue? Because I can either show you everything in one map ini file or in divided multiple ENC files. I can use both, which whatever is gonna be like more comfortable for you.
Maybe just your style for now, but later on, if you will have any questions about it, we can ask.
Like this one, right? The smaller one.
Yeah, the left one. The left
Okay.
one. Yeah.
So we have the map extracted right now. That file is responsible for everything we did in the editor. So like the hills, the trees, roads, water, and so on, except for buildings, human vehicles, and signpost. They are like in the map ini with our other stuff. Firstly, maybe I'm gonna like plug this map into the game to show you how to like actually test it, open it. Is like in the folder CN mod maps, you just need to move this folder current user map and just rename it to somewhere, rename it to something that's gonna be representing your map. So I'm gonna call it course, but you can call it whatever you want. And now if I would open Cultures Nation mod 1.3, it's gonna be unnamed because like we're gonna be talking about translation and strings in another meeting, but we can still open this map in the game. It should be this one, I think. I'm not sure which one of those it is because I have also C2M file. It's gonna be this one. No, this is not the correct one. Sorry, it was the previous one. So yeah, so you should see the text current user map always here, and then it's your size of the map divided by 2. And this is our map. And there's like empty text. And let's say the first operation, which I'm gonna show you how to do, is gonna be like defining new buildings and changing stuff related to buildings. So we're gonna be like modifying everything now in the CN mod maps folder, and this file was here. So the first section, which I'm gonna tell you how to use, is static objects. We can search it for here. If you would be using the second convention, it's just the separate file static object CNC. It's exactly the same thing. And here we have like the definition of everything that's like, we can say it's everything that's static at the beginning. So like houses, people, vehicles, and so on. So here we can see that we have like a Viking core. I'm gonna open it in the editor to show you like together what this means with the actual preview of the map. Here we can see that there's a Viking home which is fully built and is upgraded one time. I'm not sure which one was. I think this second one is it fully built, and this first one is like how many times it was upgraded. So you can see Frank Castle wasn't upgraded at all because it's only one castle, and the home was upgraded once because it's like the level of the upgrade, but we're counting from 0. So it's easier to say that it's like the number of how many times it was upgraded. So we can say that this house was upgraded once, it's fully built, and it's on coordinates 2138. This 0 for now it's not important. This is like the ID of the building for like more complex stuff, but you just need to remember to write 0 at the end. And you can confirm that indeed this is on the coordinates 2138. If you're gonna look at my bottom left corner, oh no, it's 1428 because it's gonna like, wait, it's the different building. Yeah, it's this one,
Yeah,
2138, and it's this home. And let's say I don't have any more C2M file and I would like this to be home 5. I can just change the upgrade level from 1 to 4, save the file, and if I would now open the game, it's gonna be house 5 instead of house 2. Because I upgraded it 4 times. I'm just gonna show you guys how this looks like in the game. I'm gonna firstly remove any sounds from the game. And if we would now go there, it was this one, I think. Wait, it didn't work. Oh, I know why it didn't work, because we're using C2M instead of that file. Wait a second. Okay, so you should also, I forgot this step, but you should also delete your file from user maps before placing it in data folder. So I'm gonna just move it, I'm gonna delete it actually because it's a temporary, wait, I can, because it's open in an editor. Yeah, but you should like empty this folder before putting in the dat file, because it like confuses one with another. It detects two maps and loads only one of them because the game thinks it's like the same map. And now if you're gonna open this, yeah, it's actually the different name. It says actually now the name of the map. I should know this. It's a different building. And now if I would change something, we can like use this on the two different monitors. Change this, save, restart the game. It's gonna be a different building. So we can change the buildings here. Like this should be in the order in which you placed the stuff in the editor. So I know I placed this house as the first building when I was editing the map, and therefore it's first in the static object. So that's basically how houses are defined. If you want to find list of all of the names of the homes, I think it's deleted by now. Yeah, it's back in the CN Node 1.2 in the mapper tool folder. There's the file called lista budynków, but it's in English inside, don't worry. And you have like all of the names for Ave Wonder, Cultures 4, and all of the name for Cultures Nation Mode 1.1. If I remember correctly, only Franks and Egyptians aren't compatible with 1.3. But you can always do something like placing the actual building in the editor, then converting it and seeing what the name of it is. But you can also always use this table. It's also quite like handful in some situations, I would say, because it lets you also convert between two different games. So that's basically how buildings works. And the funny thing which I can do, I can, for example, give our Viking player a Frank home. I think this is gonna work. I'm not sure, but it should work. Yeah, and now you can see I'm a Viking. It's a just regular Viking player, but I have a Frank house. So you can use this in some cool ways to give inappropriate buildings for inappropriate people. Like now I gave just Viking player a Frank house. There's like no exception that Viking needs only Viking buildings. You can give whoever you want whatever. And here, the next command, this was like the set house command. I think that's clear. It's the add goods command. It basically adds some stuff to the lastly declared building. So let's say I want, it's hard to see on the Byzantine. I'm gonna actually move it to player 0 because player 0 is us on the single player. We're gonna just have the Byzantine cathedral for us, and you're gonna see what's inside it. Yeah, this is Byzantine cathedral. You can see it's in Polish, but I hope the icons are clear. This is the stuff that's inside this cathedral, this headquarters, and it's exactly the same what's there. Let's say I want, maybe it's a desert, so I want to have more food. So I'm gonna, instead of 25, I'm gonna give myself this many. I think it's capped at 1000, so I can give more. Yeah, it's capped at 1000, but beside that, you can add anything you want there. And I don't remember where was the exact definition of the words, like the names of the. I mean the names of the items. I don't remember where the definition was, but I think what I would do in this case, you can always go to data games which include logic defines and find here, I think it's gonna be item or something like that. No, not item, but there should be like a list for that. It's gonna be not atomic animation, job experience.
Good, maybe.
Oh, here, good, yeah, good, yeah, exactly. Well, for example, I want to add fish. No, fish is not a good example because it bugged. Longbow. I can always write 38. And for this case, let's say I want 1000 longbows for some reason in my headquarters at the beginning. I'm gonna write 38 1000. But again, some people would criticize me for that. You can always write it as this good type bow long. It's gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna write 38 and I'm gonna show you that both methods works. 38, there are like 200 longbows. But yeah, it's longbow, it's in Polish. And if I would write it like that is also gonna work, but I'm gonna need to include this file. So it's gonna be include then it's game root. I'm gonna actually copy this path because it's the same for all maps. From some random map, I can just copy it. It's here. Oh, and the one thing I forgot to told you, I just saw it in different map. You can always write comments after two slashes, backslashes. It's like in C++. If you're gonna write this symbol, you can write whenever you want, and it doesn't change anything for the map actually. So I included this. We're going back to static objects. It's good type bowlong, and now we can restart the game. And there's still gonna be longbows here. There are like two different methods, but I would like it to be like 38 instead because I then don't need to import this, but I'm gonna leave it for later. So basically you can use this to add more goods to our buildings at the beginning. And that's the second command. The third one in the static objects is set human. This is basically the way we're spawning our units. So the 0 is the player to which the unit belongs. Then is the nation of it, the job, coordinates, and then I forgot which one was which, but one is behavior ID and one is regular ID. I'm gonna test it actually. Let's say there's gonna be a builder. I think it's just gonna be builder. Builder. And one of our people should turn into the builder right now at the beginning. Yeah, this is builder in Polish, budowniczy. So I changed his job. Now I know for whom I should be looking when I'm gonna be testing some scripts. One of those, I think the last one, is just an ID. As I said, we're gonna be talking about it later. I mean, yeah, this 0, but there's a 0 before it. I'm not sure which one is it. I'm gonna test it. But there's an application related to that. It's called behavior something. I forgot the name. It's in tools also in CN mode 1.3.1. There's behavior calculator. You can open it and it should launch something like that. And let's say I want my human to give me colored aura, be transparent as a ghost, and be really fast. That's gonna be my number, and I can place it, but I forgot which one was it. It could be this. I'm gonna test it. Wait, oh, I closed the game. But basically, you can use this application to like give special properties to your units. So that's how you make like a special heroes which don't look like a Bjarni. You can give it colored aura, give some other properties to it, and it's gonna work fine. Let me show you this. No, this is okay. I was mistaken. This is not this number. It's the another one. It's gonna be this one. And now you can see this guy is transparent, is a builder, and it's gonna be moving, if I'm gonna be selecting together many. Wait, one is in a loop. Because it's giving me like the messages that I saw people. Okay, you can see it move faster than those two. So you can give custom properties to your characters. It's the same with chests, gonna be later discussed. But you can use this behavior ID to give special properties to your people. And the way it works is that if you might know how binary system works, it's like every tick there is like another power of 2. This is 1, this is 2, this is 4, this is 8, and so on. And basically, if you studied math in high school, you might remember that adding powers of 2 always gives you a unique number. So if I'm gonna select those powers of 2, like the 7th, the, I don't know, 10th and 12th, I'm not sure I counted it correctly, it's gonna give me a unique number, which I would not be able to obtain by adding any other combination of another powers of 2. So that's basically how the behavior ID works. You can use it to make special people. And that's the 3 commands which I used in static object. That's quite simple. We know now how to place houses and how to place humans. There's also another thing, set animal. I forgot to place any animals on my map. And what you're gonna be doing a lot is looking at the solutions which other people did in their maps. So we're gonna just look at someone else's map just to see how they did animals, because I forgot. We can just search for set animal, and then gonna copy it firstly, then explain what it means. So 20 is the number of players. So basically, in cultures, there are not more than 20 players always. You are capped at 20, so the highest ID is 19. You cannot... it's impossible to have 21 players in the game, basically. So what developers did is said that, well, if you cannot have 21st player, let 21st player be an animal player for nothing. And that's how you use 20th player. You give animals to them. It's always adult animal. There's an option for child animal, but it's quite glitchy. And cattle, I think, is a sheep or like a cow, I forgot. I'm gonna adjust coordinates for my map. It's gonna be like 2020. And I can now... I still close the game. Yeah, I forget about this. But yeah, if now I would launch the game, I would see a cattle and the coordinates 2020. If I would, instead of 20, write 0, it's gonna have like a blue heart above it, like it would be tamed by a scout already. But if it's 20, it's gonna be wild. So I'm gonna open the map again.
Here. Stupid question. When a scout encounters cattle 20, it becomes cattle 0?
Yeah, it becomes cattle 0 in the game.
Okay.
Like this stuff, like it's hidden inside the game memory. When you change the job of the people, those values actually change there.
Okay.
So yeah, but if I would say like 0 here instead of 20 and now save the file, it's gonna have this blue heart above it itself. So yeah, it has a blue heart here.
So the script ever changes when the player plays the game?
What? Can you repeat?
The script is changing when the player is playing it.
Yeah, you can think like that about it, but I think it's like more clustered in the code because the game actually don't need to remember probably the name set house. It has like some number for it. I don't know, but it's more clear to use strings for people. Like I think you can also replace jobs with the numbers. Like let's see this.
Is there a library of those terms, for example?
Yeah, it's logic. You mean those?
Those one. No, Viking. For example, we know Viking can be a number, but is there?
Yeah, it's also in logic defines. It's also in logic defines. Which can be.
Yeah, you can like.
But some things are more easier to look at when it's a text. But
yeah, it's gonna be like nation probably, or something like that. No, I forgot what was the name, but it should be somewhere there. Like is I gonna write Viking? Not this one. Tribe type human Viking. That's
yes, but that's the new term, the new logic define. But
you mean the
old
string
one used by the developers? Is there a library of it?
Developers can use one here, I think. It's also gonna work.
No, you don't get me.
Oh no, it crashed.
Try to be more clear. Right now, what we have on the screen is Viking between dots, alright?
Yes.
It means a number, it means 1, 2, 3, 4.
Actually, I think if you have string, if there's no
Yes.
hash at the beginning, it not always means a number. I think it's
Okay.
some not always changeable with the string with the number.
So there's no library of, for example, Western Viking
Okay, so
generators?
you're asking from where should you get this name Viking in particular? If you're like,
Yes.
this question should be addressed to Yozenkov because I always copy this. It's somewhere in the data folder. It's gonna be, I think, logic, tribe types. It's not converted, but I think it's gonna be this basically one of those files. A really big mess in the Cultures Nation Mode 1.3.
Okay.
But
So
if
there
you,
is some kind of defined library in the logic
yeah, you can see,
folder.
for example, here I have names for the jobs. This is a different file.
Okay.
I think the names for Vikings and so on are in tri types, but it's not
Okay.
converted to
Okay.
ini. So it will take me
So
time to
all of it
convert it.
is in the logic
A data
folder.
logic, it should be all of
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Yeah. But the good question is also from where you should get those names, set house, set human. And the answer is not so simple. You would need hex editor. That's like a quite complex. This is like a text. Sorry. This is like a text editor, but you can open exe files here. And if you would open Cultures Nation mode, for example, exe file, and search for set human, you can find it here. And there are like different stuff written nearby. And basically, what took us many years was to figure out the meaning of those texts, because we know they are in here, hidden in the exe file, but the exact meaning was like kind of extrapolated from what we had from the original maps, kind of discovered by people who actually know how to decompilate the exe file, and partially also discovered by trial and error. So those files, those names are actually more difficult to get than those, because those are just in the ciphered text file and those are in the exe file compiled. So yeah, this is the set animal command. I think there should be more. I'm gonna check just here. Wait, all set animal. Not this one. Yeah, they are different. There are set guide, for example, and this is for setting the signpost. It was called guides in the like older version of the game. And let's say I want for player 0 to have a signpost on coordinates 30, 40, for example. It should give me a signpost there. If it's gonna be on water, it's gonna crash. You know, you can see it's like here. There's a signpost. Set guide is probably like the easiest one. You just write a number, you write the coordinates, and that's all. It's gonna connect automatically to a different signpost, which I'm gonna maybe do on 40, 50. The connection is automatical. In Cultures 1, you would need to automatically wait. I probably pasted on the water somewhere, so it's not there. Let's check maybe 50-50. No, it's probably landing somewhere in the unavailable spot and the game is deleting it upon initialization. But that's basically the command. You can set the guide and they will connect automatically. The one important also is set vehicle. I forgot the exact arguments for it, so I'm gonna search for it. One good thing which you can do here is like if you're searching for something, like let's say set vehicle, but you don't know in which map you can expect a vehicle to be. Let's say it's something rare, it's an edge case, which for case of vehicles it isn't, but for the general people, let's say it is. So you're gonna press Ctrl F on your keyboard, check, select find in files, then in filters you're gonna write enc. I think like that, enc and ini, because that's only the files which you're looking for. And then for a directory, you're gonna select the whole folder with all of the maps. And now if you're gonna press find all, wait, I probably wrote incorrectly. Oh, no, it's good. It's search me all of the instances of the text set vehicle in all of the maps. So there's actually only one map which has it. I'm surprised by this. And it's like the Saracen ship. So let me paste it somewhere. Actually, in case of placing vehicles, you shouldn't be doing that by hand because, at least for ships, because they need to be in a particular spot between land and water to work correctly. But you can also place them on the land, surprisingly, and they're gonna be able to swim throughout the grass. That's kind of a funny thing. You can see it here, yeah. It's like a ship. But it's not gonna work correctly, but yeah, that's how you make... that's how you're making vehicles. You can also use catapult, for example. That's gonna be less glitchy, I hope. Yeah, it's a catapult. It's moving by default because it don't want to be overlapped with the trees. So it moved a little bit. I can also use, I think, a handcart is a name for obviously handcart. Yeah, there's a handcart here behind the trees, if you can see. And I can use ox cart. Yeah, that's hidden behind the trees, but believe me, that's an ox cart. And you can also use sheep, but not for Saracens, for Vikings. And one important info is that if you're not playing on modifications, only Vikings can have vehicles. The fact that other nation can have vehicle is the thing which was programmed for the modification. The exception is the Saracen ship. It's like a special texture, and it can be. I think it's gonna be called ship small or something like that. Yeah, that's the ship. And there's also ship big, but it's only on the CN mode. It's not gonna work on the regular game. It's this one. That's the special. If you're gonna use it, your map not gonna. It won't be compatible with the base Eighth Wonder. Sorry for my stuttering today when I'm talking.
It's okay.
Okay. And I think the one here is that it means it's already built. If I would set it to 0, it's gonna be like meant to be built, not built already. Oh, actually not. I don't know what this one is. Oh, this is ID. This is just, it should be 0. Sorry, it's one here for a special like cause. You can see it's incrementing by 1. That should be 0. So those are most of the commands which can be found in static objects. There are also some rare commands like marry, I think, if you want to have like a couple at the beginning, but you see no one uses it. Maybe I'm gonna find some use case on the Discord when I pasted it. Oh yeah, I now found it. Let me paste it on mapping text. Those are all commands which can be used in a static object section. Like for example, child of woman. If you want for a child to have a mother defined, marry is if you want to like have 2 people married at the beginning. So let me show how this might work. But you can see no one uses it. None of the maps which is included in Cultures Nation mode uses it, but it's possible to use. But I'm not sure should it be defined after a woman or a man. I think it should be like that. After defining a man, for example, him, and a woman, her, we can write firstly coordinates for the man, 23, 26, and then coordinates for the woman, that's 56 and 24. And now if I'm gonna launch the game, they should be married with each other. And it's this guy. No, they aren't. It's something glitched. Wait a second. It might be a different guy. I'm gonna check it in statistics. It's this guy, but it's glitchy. What? Yeah, I glitched something. It should be... Maybe it should be the other way around. I'm not sure. But this is a rare option, so I don't think you're gonna be ever using it. No, it's glitched. Let me check actually in the documentation made by Emil some time ago. Oh, sorry, my Discord is glitching. I think I pasted it somewhere here. Where it was? It should be pinned on Google, I think. Yeah, like the whole documentation is scattered in many places. Don't expect everything to be in one place. Yeah, it is in Polish also. And he made it like that. Okay, so it should be woman first, but it didn't work for me. That's strange. I don't know why it doesn't work. Maybe it should be. No, it's written the same form. 56, that's a woman. And 23, 26, that's a man. Yeah, it doesn't work. I'm surprised. Anyway, this is a rare comment. I'm gonna later probably talk to Emil how he made it work. I don't want to waste my time debugging it here, but you can see something like happens with them. It no longer says he's like unmarried here. Or no, never mind. It doesn't say it for men anyway. Okay, so there are like many comments like this. Self-produced good is important if you want to make like a actual collector or something, because collectors by default don't collect anything. It should be also in this PDF, but it's in Polish. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So this part is actually in English. So ignore everything else. If you want Viking to actually produce something, you're gonna write firstly that it's gonna be a collector, and then as a second property, you're gonna write what you want him to produce. If you want for him to produce iron, that there was additional command for that, and this is set experience. And I think I should have it somewhere on a private channel with someone to whom I explained it. Let me see. Search. No, it's probably somewhere at the server. Maybe if I'm gonna search for it. Yeah, it should be some. Yeah, if you want to make a collector of an iron, it should look like this. So you need to set firstly the collector somewhere, then you need to set the experience for it, because you cannot dig gold or iron by default. It's like blocked. And then you need to set produce good to gold. So there's an additional line with set experience here. So that's how you're gonna do collectors of gold and iron specifically, but others collector don't need this line. This is like additional experience. I think for iron instead of gold, it shouldn't be 11 because this is the number from logic defines. It should be like 10 or something. Let me check. No, it's actually not from here. It's it's always 5. Sorry, yeah, because the collector of wood, yeah, it's kind of glitchy. It should be 5, 11. Always the 11 is the number of how many stuff he dug out, and the 5 is wood. And collectors are glitched, so it's always 511. I think. Yeah, it should be 511 because gold and iron is 6 or 7, 8, and it wouldn't make sense otherwise. Okay, so that's basically the static objects. There's this PDF from Emil. It's pinned on Ogólny. If you would like to go into some details, you can always go here to pinned messages. It's there. It's in Polish, but I don't think it's gonna be a problem for you to translate it in the Google Translate. Sorry for that, but most of the people here are Polish, unfortunately, and most of the documentation because of this is written in Polish, not in English. It's same for German community. They have everything in German. Okay, I feel like I'm kind of going in the circles with that. So let's go to another topic. I think static objects are understood by now. Or do you have any questions about them?
Interesting because I have a static object in my folders, but it's not. It's an Excel file.
Where it isn't?
It's an Excel file.
It's not in the exe file here, like.
No, it's Excel. XLS.
I'm not sure. What do you mean?
Word, right? Word, Excel.
Excel as a table.
Okay, and
table.
okay,
in French we tend to say Excel file instead of table file.
Okay, so you mean the text file? The static objects are absent here. for you?
No,
You mean like you don't have?
no, I
Can you
don't have
share the
PDF,
screen?
but I have VXLS.
Can you share the screen? Maybe that's gonna be easier.
Yeah. Give me a moment. So you're gonna see it's quite a mess.
Okay.
Probably the old static object. I have this.
Can you
This
open
file.
this? That's like an unrelated file. Oh, it was written by me like 5 years ago. That's the same thing as the PDF file, but an Excel file. I wrote it back when I was in like middle school or something.
I mean, it's quite interesting.
Yeah, it's the same thing as the PDF. Like you can have the full names of the buildings there. It's only for set house, I think.
As you can see, it's a whole mess here.
Yeah. Yeah, I see.
I downloaded everything I could.
Okay, so the next thing which I wanted to show you, if there aren't any questions, is to how to define more players than 4. And this is the player data section. So here we have like, there are many comments here also, but the two most important are player and diplomacy. And player basically is a definition of a player. So the first argument is the number of player. It should always be incremented by 1 counting from 0. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on from 0. And it shouldn't exceed 20 because of what we said previously about animals. So this is the number of player. Then the second number is to what tribe this player belongs. I think so. I'm gonna actually check that in someone's another map. No, sorry, it's player. Yeah, and in the convention of splitting files, it's the player ENC now, not static object. The first one is, oh no, it's actually human or AI. So player type human would be 1, player type AI would be 2, and maximum is never used. This is like the just the definition of a limit. So none is like unused stuff. Human is the human, and AI is an AI. So this basically means shouldn't be available in a multiplayer lobby. So here you can see the player 1 is human and everything else is AI. But let's say I wanted to make it multiplayer and to turn everything to once. Now all of the people will be treated as human, and I think all of them should start building like they would as the humans if I would launch the map as a multiplayer. Then those numbers are colors for those are nations, I think. So yeah, so one will be Viking. I can search for it. Yeah, it's Viking, from Byzantine, Saracen, Weresnake, and Werewolf. And this is basically the number of the nation of the player. So let's say I won't change, and I would like to play Saracens instead of Vikings. I can change this to, I think 4 is Saracen. And then I need to remember to also change everything here to be of Saracen units. Like here I need to have Saracen instead of Viking. And this is basically how you change a nation on a map. You change this one number in a player definition, you change the humans. You can also correct the buildings because they won't be changed now. But you can see I have Saracens, and if I would like make them have a child, they would... Wait, I can marry them. That's interesting. Why cannot they be married? I don't know why I glitched out. Why can't I marry them?
Because they're still playing as the Vikings.
No, because I changed here to 4. They should be now, or maybe 1 is AI actually, not a player. How it looked like at the beginning. It was like that. And I should be able. Let me see if they glitched something for Vikings. They should be also. They should be able to like. Yeah, now it is there. And now if we're gonna change it to 4, Will it be there? It isn't there, actually. Wait a second. That's also unexpected. I didn't know this can happen. But for a Saracen, and now if I would say like it's gonna be a Saracen builder and a Saracen woman, they should be able to marry each other. Oh, it now works. I might not save the file before. Yeah, they're gonna be married. They can have a child now, and yeah, it's gonna be a Saracen. If you would like change only people and forgot to change it here, first of all, they wouldn't be able to multiply, as you saw. But even if you somehow manage to multiply them, the new people would be Vikings, not Saracens. But that's basically how you change a nation. You change a bunch of stuff in static objects and a bunch of stuff in player data. And you can also, the fourth number is a color. Let me change everything to 5. I think that's gonna be maybe orange or something. No, not the orange, probably. Purple, yeah. You can see now all players are purple on the map. I changed the color to 5 here. And there are like 10 colors, I think. If you're gonna go to logic defined, it should be somewhere in the top. I forgot where it was. It's blue, red, yellow, cyan, green, purple. The one exception is that neon is not a neon color. It's like a light brown. In Polish, we usually say it's a shit color.
Okay.
You can see now if I'm gonna change it to 8, it's gonna be a shit color. It's this one. No one likes this color. And one important info, those color don't matter on the multiplayer, because on multiplayer you can change those colors actually. And even if you would block people from changing them, the multiplayer lobby still messes this up somehow. It's kind of glitched, and those colors are more important only on single player. It's kind of possible to change color on multiplayer, but it's like really complicated, and barely anyone understands it. It's kind of like there's a hidden info in the .dat file, which can determine randomly what colors will be the players, but no one is sure where exactly it is. But it's somewhere like here in this whole mess. But basically, the color is gonna work only on single player. And then you have the diplomacy. That's the second argument. It says from whom to whom and what status. So it's from player 0 to player 1, and it's gonna be neutral. I think one's gonna be either enemy or friend. We're gonna just see in a second if I'm gonna restart it. And it's gonna be still neutral. Oh no, it's actually the another way around. So the player 1 is actually toward player friendly, toward player 0 now friendly. So it's from player 1 to player 0 friendly. If I'm gonna set it to the 3, it's gonna be hostile. So they are now hostile toward me. Yeah, it's in Polish. Yeah, in the it automatically changed also my status for some reason. I don't know. I'm not sure why. Maybe they already attacked me somehow. No, yeah, but that's how you define basically the diplomacy. If you would see how other people do it, people like to do it through names. No, people actually use numbers. I don't know what Yosenko did, but I thought many people would use. Oh, maybe I should. Yeah, now it was gonna work. I wrote it incorrectly here. It should be not a comma, but maybe a semicolon for it to work correctly. And it was only searching the stuff with numbers. But now you can see all of the usages, and people actually write the names here. That's how the regular player data looks like. So you can define players here, define diplomacy, and there's more stuff here, and it's on our website, also in Polish. Actually, maybe I'm gonna. So it's a good point because we discussed most of static objects, most of player data, to show you from where actually get this information. It's really chaotic, but the best way is to actually ask someone directly how to do something specific, and they probably will know where to search for it. Because as you can see, static objects are kind of randomly pinned there. This another part which I was about to show you is on our website somewhere. Another part gonna be on Vikinger Tommy website somewhere here in the documentation in German. So it's all messed up on the internet somewhere. And it's good to ask other people, because even if we don't remember how to do something exactly, we probably remember where it is in this whole mess, which no one cares to like clean up for some reason. So basically, the first source is to look how other people did something. It's not like a plagiarism to look at someone's code and be inspired by it. It's not like with PCX files, you can copy a few lines and no one will notice. At least if it's not the whole thing, because Matrix a few times like copied my whole map, the whole file copied from me, and it was quite obvious. But if it's not a whole file, just a part, no one will care that much. You can look how people did it, copy it for yourself, and test it. If you know the particular map where some thing is solved, you can go to that map, to the scripts from that map, and see how it was done in this map. But there are like two main databases. Unfortunately, none of this is in English. The one database is in Polish. It's on our website. If you would go to like Cultures Nation, it's poradniki tutoriale, and it's a bunch of PDF files here. The one which is definitely outdated and do not use it is the first one. It's like the most outdated one. Don't even look at it. But everything else is still relevant, I would say. And there is also a German database. Personally, I don't use it because I don't speak German. But in some rare cases, you might be able to find something useful there. And there's also a documentation for Cultures 1, which I wrote. And it's not, it's, I know it's a different game, but those games are pretty similar, and sometimes they are like, they have some common parts which work in both games. Like the whole thing which is gonna be discussed by Andrew in, I think, week or 2 weeks, the AI data. This part is like empty here. This is how to write custom scripts for AI to behave. It's exactly the same in Cultures 2 and in Cultures 1. So you can go to my documentation and see how it's written there. It's I think much more digestible than from other sources where you could get this information. Like in case of at least AI data. So those are the three sources, and I was about to jump to the first of them, discuss other usages in player ENC file or in player data section, as you can say it. So this is the same thing. You can define player, you can define color, diplomacy. Okay, there are four of them. Sorry that descriptions are in Polish, but I'm gonna explain them anyway in English. Player never dies. That's quite obvious. It's when you have like a hero that you don't want for it to die, like not a particular unit, but you don't want the skull to appear as an icon and as a message when someone dies. So you can say like player never dies 1, for example, and it means that even if you would kill everybody from player 1, it won't be considered dead, and the player would treat the game as if would be still alive. That's the first command. The another one is no scene first message, and it's from actually it doesn't say it here. Like here, if I would write 0, 1, I think I can actually check it in other maps. How it's done. It's probably this one. I wouldn't get a message when I find the player 1, and by message it means the icon with the handshake, not the actual text. It's defined somewhere else. But now if I would restart the game, you can see I got the player 3, 2, and 1. What? I didn't save it, sorry. Okay. Now it should be player... Oh, it's still there. Maybe it's 1, 0. It's maybe reversed. No, it doesn't work. Why? I'm confused. It's this one, obviously. I'm not sure why I get this message, but it should like block me from getting it actually. It doesn't work now. But it's meant to be used like that. Maybe because player never dies one or something like that, or maybe this diplomacy. I don't know. Sorry for that. And I still can see them. Maybe if I would say player 2, it's gonna work differently. No, it still works like that. I'm not sure why it's like that. But the two different should work. Relation not changeable. They should ban the change of the relation toward this player. And it's probably also reversed. If it's not gonna work, I'm not sure what's going on with my file right now. uh, Actually, maybe I should restart the game because not all changes are registered sometimes. I'm gonna do this bidirectionally. It could be that it didn't register the change of the file. I'm not sure, it should work. Oh, I know why it doesn't work. It's player misc, sorry. I wrote it in the wrong section. It should be in the player misc, it should be like down here. But it's, for some reason, it's in the same tutorial as... Yeah, okay, sorry, I confused it. Not multiplayer, single player. Sorry for being so chaotic. And now you can see I cannot change the relation. No, it still doesn't work. It's definitely player misc. I'm gonna check it. Yeah, player misc. Relation not changeable. And should be 0220. Yeah, and now you can see it works because it's player free because we're counting from 1 in the UI and from 0 here. So it's a different number, but you can see I cannot change relation towards them. And the same thing with no seen first message. If I would paste it here, I wouldn't be able to see the player free from the beginning. And you can see, yeah, it's only player 1 and 3. The player 2, which is player 3, 2. Oh, it's also same here. Whoa. Yeah, but it works. I cannot. I don't get the message that I saw the player. And it's usually used when you have like a big city, when separate provinces are kind of separate players, but you don't want to give person like a 10 messages that he discovered the same tribe 10 times, kind of. So you're gonna block this for every part of the city instead of like a central one or something like that. So that's how it's used. And the final command is relation hide, and basically it hides entirely the player in the diplomacy window. And now you can see I cannot even change the diplomacy towards player. I don't know which one this is, but I cannot change the diplomacy. I cannot see one of the players. So those are like 4 additional commands. They are in the different section, but in the same file in that conversion of dividing files into ENC files. And I think those are like the all of the important basic files for now. Stuff in player for now. So there's player data. Player misc is gonna be discussed later because this is like the it's gonna be used for translations, and the stuff which is used for translations requires additional files with texts. And we're gonna be discussing the other time because if you're gonna go to the existing maps, they are sometimes like the text folder, which is not in our case yet. We haven't created it yet, and this stuff refers to this folder, so we're not gonna be using that. Oh, one important thing is misc map type. This is the type of your map. So 5 is like, if you're gonna look at my map here and the free game menu, is kind of is in this middle part where kind of cursed. But if we would like to put it somewhere in the single player or multiplayer, we can change just this number. And I think 4 is gonna be multiplayer. And we actually need to relaunch game for that to register, I think. 4 should be multiplayer, and I think 3 or 2 is gonna be single player. I haven't created single player map in a long time, so I'm not sure. It should be also in the logic defines. So I'm gonna say multi here. Yeah, like the thing which we had was user single player free, and now we're changing it to multiplayer free. So it's gonna be now somewhere in the multiplayer here. It's in the between other maps. So in case of single player, you would just change it to 2 instead of 4. So it's gonna be for single player 2 here. This stuff is also meant to be used for texts. We're gonna discuss that later. Okay, so I think, are there any questions about player data here? Sorry, I think I'm being a bit. Tell me if I'm too spontaneous, because I think like I'm kind of stressed because of those little errors all around.
No, it's okay. It's just a lot to take in, so I don't have any questions. I just have to, rewatch the course several times to, to understand
Yeah.
everything. Because there was a lot of information.
Yeah, it's kind of technical, so it's gonna be like more dense in this stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's alright. I was expecting that.
Yeah, okay, so next section, it's quite short, which I would like to explain. It's logic control. I don't think it's documented anywhere just because it's so short, so people just pass down orally the knowledge how this section works. And this is the only section when you declare the end, as I said previously. And there are only 3 variables, always 3. I don't think ever that there were like more variables here. It should be defined only once. And there's gonna be always only those 3 variables, nothing more. So version, this is basically the version of your map. Imagine that we would have 2 similar maps here, course and maybe course copy. And we have those 2 maps, and we want the game to always prioritize loading our copy because maybe after releasing the map for the first time, we fixed something, and now we want to change it. Like, we want always to use the copy version. So we can go here to map ini and change version to something big, like 2, maybe some greater number. Basically, when the game searches for the map, it tries to find map by this value. I'm gonna discuss it in a moment. But basically, if there are 2 different versions of the map, the game will load the one with the bigger version number. So I don't think anyone ever used this. It's not gonna be used probably anyway. Oh, there's... Oh, actually, Emil used it once. That's it. I didn't expect him to do, but yeah, if people update the map after some patches or something, they update this number. So this is the number of the version, and you cannot write here like 2.1. That's not a thing. Even if your map is technically like here 1.1, as you can see in the title of the map, you still need to increment it by a whole number. So it's 2 here in this case. The map size, this is obviously the size of your map, but as you might notice by this point in the course, sometimes when we declare the size of the map, it's divided by half. So my map, which I created in the editor, if I would open it, like if I would look for static objects there, you can see that some parts are like really far away past the 50-50 mark. Like the whole size of the map is actually 100 by 100. So why it says 50 by 50 here, not 100 by 100? And I think the good explanation for that, I think the best one, is in it's in Cultures 1. So sorry for opening this thing. If you would look at the Cultures map really closely, both in Cultures 1, Cultures 2, and in all other Cultures versions, it's always composed of such triangles. It's hard to spot them because you always like have the whole hexagons everywhere. And but behind this, it's all triangles, and this is like how the coordinates work. So the x-axis is always... Actually, I'm gonna copy this image and send it to you. for on the Discord because I think it's gonna have a higher quality there. Mapping text, so you can view it there. If you would count the triangles here, you might notice that they are incremented slower than there are vertices incremented. Like, how should I say it correctly? Like sometimes when you the triangles always in their top parts have this blue dot, which is always an even coordinate. And sometimes what's important for the developers is to count how many triangles there are. So they always come in pair. One is regular, one is inverse. This is called triangle A, this is triangle B, and they count it like as a parallelograms of a paired A and B. So this is one like tile, this is the another one, and there are 4 of them. But there are 8 vertices between them because for some reason in the middle of the development they decided to add vertices on the sides of the triangles. And in case of my map, like the one which I shown, if I would actually manage to count the vertices from top to from here to here, it would be 100 vertices, like 0, 1, 2, and so on. But if I would count only triangles which are facing upward, there would be 50 of them, not 100. And sometimes they are counting triangles, and sometimes they are counting vertices. In case of map size, they are counting triangles, but in case of static objects, they are counting vertices. So it's really confusing, but it's important to have this image in your head if you ever struggle with this. Just remember there are 2 different versions of counting coordinates, and developers couldn't decide which one to use. So here they used the reduced one with the triangles, and the one with the 100 in this case, so with the more vertices, those are called micro coordinates, and the one with the triangles, which is here the size 50-50, those are called macro coordinates. But this is like a technical term, you don't need to remember this. This is more like a fun fact. But basically this is a map size, just to remember why it's divided by 2. That's like a fun fact. And the map GUID, this is like, someone said something, or did I misheard?
No, I was just saying okay.
Okay. This is the value, which is like an map GUID. This is the identificator of your map. Basically, if there are 2 maps which has the same ID in the game, only one of them will be loaded in the game. And these values, some people think they have some magic meaning, but it's not true. You can write here whatever you want. If you want, you can like try to read the numbers on my maps. I really like to put secret messages there, hidden like in a binary system. We can do something like that, and we can relaunch the map. I think we should. I closed it. We need to relaunch the whole game after modifying map GUID because this is the value by which the game actually identifies what is the correct map. And one thing, maybe don't put their values which are bigger than 256, because this shouldn't exceed that value. It doesn't matter really, but technically, puristically, mathematically, those values should be only stored as 1 byte. So there shouldn't be anything like more. And it's here, course and course copy. And now you can see the game actually treats it as 2 different maps just because I changed the map GUID of the another one. If I would revert it back to the original one, which I'm not gonna do because I closed my notepad and my Ctrl-Z didn't work, it wouldn't work. But if I would revert it back to the original numbers, those only one of those maps would be in the game actually. So this is logic control, quite a short section, and it should be always placed as the first in the map definition. So maybe something practical now. Let's say we have this map, and I would say, as you can see, I have now this village, which is like a mixed nation, kinda in the north, and I have also this part, which is in the south. And let's say I want this to be a separate player. I don't want to have those buildings. I want to add a fifth player. That's probably something about what you're wondering, because 4 players in the editor is a really low limit. So would you like to try to guess what should I change to make it, or should I show it?
You're just going to copy like down on the player data and just add like another number to it and just change out all the ones you want.
Exactly. So it's player 5, so fourth, because we're counting from 0. And here I think those are those people, so I can change it to 4 here, the player to whom they belong. And also I can change the buildings from them. I think it's this one, this one, this one, and this. I'm not sure which are they. I should look at coordinates. It's this one. Wait, what buildings they actually have in the game? 3 houses, 2 and headquarters. So it's gonna be this one, I think. It's gonna be. I think those. No, this is Viking home. I think, yeah, it might be those. I'm not sure about the coordinates. Did I did something incorrectly? Okay, I forgot that I still have this Byzantine head cathedral. Maybe I'm gonna change it first. Yeah, let's. I'm not sure which house it's gonna be. Like, this is gonna be a Frank home. This is definitely on the north, judging by the coordinates. This is. Or maybe I'm looking at the wrong map. Maybe this is not the course, but the course copy. Yeah, you can see now I don't have those buildings. It was correct, I was launching the wrong map. If I would now select the scout and go there, it's gonna be a separate player. I can see it because it's on the south. And you can see it's a separate player now. It's like the player 5. So that's how you add the new player to the game. You just add another entry here. Don't forget to add diplomacy. That's also important. You need to like add now here. That's gonna really quickly grow towards a large number of lines. But you need to you should define all of the diplomacies between players. So let's say it's gonna be neutral to everyone and hostile to myself. So that's 2-4. That's gonna be 3-4. And now also 4 to all other players. So 4 to me, it's gonna be hostile, and to everyone else, it's gonna be 4-0. 4-0, that's me. 1, 2, 3, it's gonna be neutral, and I also want to be hostile towards them. And now, if I would relaunch the map, it's gonna they're gonna be hostile toward me, and I'm gonna be hostile toward them if I'm gonna find them now. Yeah, and it's in Polish, but they are hostile. And I'm hostile to them too. Okay, and the one thing about which you also might be wondering is that it might be pain in the ass to walk everywhere with scouts and discover stuff when you just want to test stuff that's far away somewhere. So it's gonna be discussed in a week how mission data works, but for now, if you want to have the whole map discovered at the beginning, you should write here at the first mission. This is the 12th line in my case. In the first mission, below goal, you should write result, explore area, and then 4 zeros. Actually, you don't need to worry that much about knowing what this means, because the mission data is much better documented than on all other stuff. This basically means it's gonna explore the area for player 0 on coordinates 0, 0 with the radius 0. But the radius 0 glitches and it discovers the whole map. And if I would open it now, it's gonna have it's not gonna be discovered yet, because the mission activates together with this cutscene, because this play cutscene is actually this stuff, this real play cutscene. And now we have the whole map discovered at the beginning. Yeah, and you can see all of the players. There are 5 players because me and 4 others. Yeah, and that's how you discover the map at the beginning. So missions will be discussed in a week. What should I tell you more? AI also gonna be discussed in a week or 2 weeks. Some misc things, like if you would go to the extracted map, the things which I told you about is map ini. That's quite clear, I would say. Include logic control, and that's all. Static objects, that's also probably quite clear. Player, yeah, that's not a good example because those lines actually aren't valid part of the script. They shouldn't be written like that. But yeah, people define it like that. Oh, and multiplayer, you can also write it. You can write like that. What option for multiplayer should there be? Let me quickly demonstrate you how this works. Firstly, you need to change your map type to fourth. That's gonna be multiplayer, and then in multiplayer section, we're gonna create it. It's not here. We can do it like that because now it just means that this section is empty here. We can declare the next section right away. Human was, let me search for it quickly. It's gonna be 1. So human is gonna be 1. AI is 2 and none is 0, I think. So I'm gonna do it a little bit different. That's gonna be 1, 2. That's gonna be 0, 1, 2. That's gonna be 1. And that's gonna be 2. And I think I need to also define player 4. Let's say it's also gonna be 4, like that. And if I would now launch the multiplayer, I'm not sure will it work because I might need to restart the game. Map, yeah, it's here. And basically, for player 0, I can now select either none, human, or AI. So it can be me, it can be computer player, or it can be it cannot be none. It didn't work. Not sure how it should be done correctly.
And zero is no player.
You mean I cannot disable player 0 specifically? Wait a second, should it? I'm gonna try again. Maybe it's the order 1 to 0 actually, not the. I think I need to restart the game for it to work correctly. Because not everything is like checked every time by the game. This is gonna be incorrect. Wait, what have I wrote here? Should be 1. No, it's gonna. Okay, this is the number of the player. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's saved. And now if I would create a new game, I should be able to select all 3 options for player 0. It's showed our map, and player 0 can. Okay, now it works. I can be player 0, I'm a human. A computer can be player 0, and it can be disabled. So that's 1, 2, 0. 1, 2, it means only human and AI. So I can be there, it can be a computer, but I'm not able to disable it. It's gonna be either a computer or me. So this basically forces at least someone to be here, even if that's AI. 1 means it can be only a human, so I can be here, but I cannot place a bot here. It's kind of glitchy because yeah, I still can jump out of this. So you shouldn't write it like that. It should be 1, 0. That would be correct. 1 alone is glitchy. And 2 is just a computer player. We cannot change it. That's a computer. So 0 is non-empty slot. 1 is computer and 2 is player. That's how you use multiplayer. And for that you need to remember to change your map type to 4. And maybe trading. That's gonna be the last thing for today because my throat hurts. Or maybe Emil, do you want to explain missions later after me? Or not? Okay, so I'm gonna just explain trade agreements now. This is also one of those things which you might not know but is in our documentation. somewhere, and it's gonna be here, I think. Yeah, it's here. So firstly, that's where those IDs of buildings come in handy. Basically, you can, going back to static objects, I told you those IDs weren't that much important, and now we're coming back to them, and that's the part where they are important. So basically, let's say we want to have some trade agreement with Byzantines. We want to like give some stuff to them, and we want some stuff back from them. So firstly, we need to be friendly towards them. So let's change it to 1 here and 101 here. Now we're gonna be friendly to them, and they're gonna be friendly to us. We will be able to like make some proper treats. I'm not sure how to pronounce it in English. And let's say it's gonna be in Cathedral, so it has ID 1001. We just need to remember this number. It's like an identifier of the stock when we're gonna be trading. So here we write, I don't remember the old stuff, so I'm gonna be looking at this PDF. We write trade agreement. Then we write the number of the building, so it's 1001. Then we write what we want to have it. Let's say 15. 15 is gonna be holy oil. Maybe we want to, I'm not sure, should it be like what we give them or what we take? We're gonna see how this is gonna look like in game. And the amount is gonna be 10. And then let's do the maybe 2 and also 10. I'm not sure what's 2. That's gonna be mud, so the clay. And now if I would launch the game after saving this, I should have a trade agreement with them. It's not this one. Where is it? Oh, it's on multiplayer now. Sorry. It's here. And the map should discover. And if I would like see them, that's in Polish. Sorry for that. I have Polish game. It means he can offer us 10 clay for 10 oil. So that's a trade. I'm not sure how it should be done when we have multiple things, like maybe 10 clay for 10 oil, and I think it can be written like this. It should work. No, it doesn't work. I'm gonna check how other people did it. That's always the best thing to do. But basically, this I might be a little bit faster. When we want to trade with someone, firstly we need to ensure that we are friendly, and this is the ID of source which we want to take from them. This is how much we want to take from them. This is the source of what we want to give them, and this is how much we should give them this source. But I think you can give them multiple things for one in exchange. And let's look, did other people use it? Probably they did. There's a lot of trade agreements here. And I don't think there are any usages. Maybe I misremember something. Is it possible to do it like that, Emil? Or isn't it possible? Okay, I might be remembering something incorrectly, but it seems from the documentation that we can trade only one thing for another, and not like two goods together for one. I'm not sure, can I remember any case where this was present in the game. But it's only one for one, I think. Can you guys confirm? Because I'm not sure. Did you saw any map where you can like trade multiple stuff for one?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm neither am I. So, okay, so it's only one for one, but this is basically how trading works. You need to define the number of the building, and then the type, amount, type, and amount. And the type is in logic defined, count as good. You can also write instead of 2 hash good type mud, and it's gonna work the same as long as I have imported games where it includes here. So that treats agreements. Is there anything important in MISC ENC which I should show you? Okay, random human names like heroes. That's gonna be discussed later with the text part of the course. And music. I have it turned off, so I won't be testing it because it's really loud, usually in the game. If you want to have custom music, which plays by default when you're like building a village, it's MISC music, a music type, and there's a one number for that, and it should be there. Yeah, you have the names of the music here. The working one is usually from 1 to 21. Those are like used for jingles, don't use them. Let's say I want to have some Arabic music from the Saracens. It's gonna be 5. And if I would place the number 5 here in the MISC music type, and now I would relaunch the game, but I need to enable music. I'm afraid it's gonna be loud. Let me do this like that. And now relaunch it. Okay, that's definitely too loud. But you could hear probably that it was music from Saracens. So that's for music is only one number. You can always check what is it in the logic defines. Okay, so I think I covered most of the important stuff. The remaining sections, which I haven't told you about today, are mission data and AI. AI is gonna be told by Anju in a week or two. Not sure how the next meeting's gonna go. Mission data is gonna be taught by Emil in a week, I think. But this is basically you can try to deduce it by yourself. That's gonna be a lot of fun if you like programming. This goal are if statements, and the result is what happens, and there are like lists for it in the tools folder. So you have like a whole documentation here. And if you're gonna try to do it on your own, that's gonna be quite fun for yourself to figure it out. I did it by myself, kind of, with the documentation, and it was more fun than if I would be taught it by someone in a boring way or on Discord, I would say. But that's gonna be taught on a different meeting too, so you don't need to worry about it yet. And the remaining stuff, like human names, for example, let's search for this. Okay, maybe this. There are some sections which I haven't told you about yet, but they are dependent on this folder called text, which is present in many maps. And this is gonna be discussed on the last meeting, how to make a translation of your map and this folder. But basically those sections suck info from this folder. And unless we have this folder, we cannot use it in practice. So this is gonna be also discussed in later. So just to recap what we discussed today, I think. Or maybe do you have any questions about this MISC stuff at the end, which I wrote?
No, not much questions. I did have a few questions from earlier, but I can wait for it and ask for questions.
Okay, so I'm gonna recap the whole thing, what we said today. It's almost 2 hours by now. Okay, so from the presentation, just to remember, there are 3 types of file manipulation stuff in cultures. That's extraction, conversion, and packing. And changing C2M to this kind of folder is neither of them. This is the combination of extraction and conversion. You can do it manually by converter.exe, or if you have C2M converter and Java, you can do it by there. Depends which is more useful for you. If you want to use numbers, you should use the manual thing with converters.exe. If you want to use separate files and text names, you should use C2M converter. That's the more traditional way to do it, but I don't like it that much. There are 2 main commands, define, include. There's also you can write comments by 2 backslashes, same as in C++. That's the whole syntax in ini file. That file shouldn't be touched. That's like the magic which we haven't figured out yet entirely. And then when we have a map ini file, The one which I was showing is this. We have multiple sections here. Just remember, imagine this as a library. Different square brackets are different shelves, different lines are different entries, different boxes, and different numbers are different arguments, different stuff that you put inside those boxes. And then we had the meaning of logic control. That was quite simple. Then we had static objects. So the most important are set house, add goods, set human, set vehicle, and set animal. Those 5, and set guide if you want to have some signposts. Then we discussed player data. You can define players there and set the diplomacy between them. You can use either numbers or texts, as some people do, like here, for example. Depends what's more comfortable for you. Just if you're gonna be using texts, remember to import this file with the command include and game root, not map root. And then we had player misc. We haven't discussed it because that depends on text file. This is map type. Just should it be single player, multiplayer, or maybe a tutorial or something like that. That also depends on text file. This is the name of your map and the description of it, but we're gonna discuss it later. This is how you write trade agreements with other players. The tributes, the different part where you like pay the stuff and something happens immediately. That's gonna be discussed as part of missions data later. MISC music is a custom music on your map, and multiplayer is which option should be available in multiplayer lobby. If you want to search for all of those sections, if there are any that I missed, you can always. What?
O papierach mówiłeś?
I haven't. No, I haven't told them about that. Do you remember the name of it? How it was called? This section with the 3 buildings. I can change. Okay, I forgot about one thing. Cool that Emil is here and he told me to say about it. The papers with the 3 buildings. If you want a person to like a player to have it, I'm gonna see how this is done in the. Is it this one? Oh no, I need to use it. Converters. That's gonna be sieve to ini. I'm gonna just show you how to give your people 3 buildings at the beginning of the
It's in player.
Is in player? Okay. But I'm checking, is it the correct map here? No, it's the wrong one. There's gonna be this one gonna be the snowstorm. I forgot the English name. Okay, so let's convert sieve to ini as before. Map sieve, save to file map ini. And it's gonna be in. It's gonna be somewhere here. You can scroll down and search for it, for the unique name which you haven't seen before.
Special items.
How?
Special items.
Okay, and if you want to add some building to a player, I'm not sure what this free meant. I think I documented it somewhere on the Discord server. It should be. I'm searching for an old message where I documented it, because I remember I did. I forgot what that free was. Okay, so the first number is obviously the player ID. The free, it can be either a 3 or a 2. The 1 is unused here. If it's free, it means that you want to place a building whose ID is here. But if it's 2 instead of 3, it means it's a free building. So that would mean it's the place any building, and that means place a specific building with the ID 41. We can now search what ID it is in logic defines. That's gonna be 41. And that's, I already missed it. It was a tower. Yeah, it's a fight tower, as you can see. We can also write it, as some people would suggest, as add 03 house type fight tower 01. If I would write something like that in our current map. Where I had it, it was the wrong version. CN mod maps course. If I would add this line now, the order isn't important. I can add it anywhere in this file. Just logic control must be at the top. And now I would launch the map. I should have like a free building to place in my papers. I mean the tower, because obviously it's a tower. Yeah. If I would, instead of that, write 2, it would be just any building. I would be able to check which one is it. To choose, not to check. Yeah, it's a... And I don't have any to choose because I don't have a developed village. Let's say it's gonna be a farm. Can I now play? No, I don't have a collectors. I need a collector.
You can't because you have to because it shows here just Viking buildings. So
Oh,
you won't
okay.
be able to
Okay.
replace any Saracen buildings.
Yeah, I changed. Yeah. Okay, so it works only for Vikings. Good to point that. So I think those are all sections which I should mention. The remaining are mission data, AI data, and everything that's dependent on text. Actually, I can check that if there are any missing check sections. Let me check it. Wait, no, this one. You can always go to the hex editor and see the names of all the sections here. And allowed things, that's like something weird. I'm not sure is it ever used. Oh, it's actually used by someone somewhere. It's empty. Okay, this is when you want to make a kind of tutorial and forbid someone from doing something. I think particularly on this map, this blocks you from building ships, so you cannot swim across different parts of the land. So the number of player, one is I think always one, and this is the what you want to block from a job. If we would look now at logic defines, this 61 is gonna be okay. It's a good type vehicle. Okay, so I'm not sure about it because this is a really rarely looked upon section. Where I already lost this file. Where it was. Oh, I haven't written it down. It's here. So I would write something like allowed things. I forgot the syntax here. It's here. If I would write something like that, I don't remember this one, what it means. It should be like a vehicle or something like that. Okay, here you cannot, that's Valhalla, that makes sense. You cannot make dragons here because those are like wooden spears, Byzantines. So it's always one, and then this is a good type what you want to block. So let's say I want, for example, to block iron tools from being made. Just as a random example. I would now open my map and write a section allowed things, which I'm not gonna spell correctly, so I'm gonna copy it. And now I can write, forgot the syntax, forbid good. And there I can write too many files. Forbid good for player 0. I think it should be 1. And now for iron tools, it's gonna be like there's a lot of things with iron. $32. That's gonna be 32. So we can go to our map and write it like that. And now we will be unable to produce iron tools in the map. 61 is gonna be a ship or something like that. And we can also forbid houses instead of goods. So it's gonna be almost the same thing. Keep losing this file. Not this one. It's this one. Like that, forbid house. Oh, wait. I'm being confused. I have too many files open. But yeah, this basically... Oh no, this is a different section. allowed items. What have I wrote? Special item. Oh no, this is the different one. I lost where I had the thing with the iron tools. Yeah, but never mind. You can block the buildings like that. And the building 40, I'm not sure what that's gonna be. We can check it. Tower. You cannot build a tower, and you cannot build an upgraded tower. And I think as well, this works only for Vikings, really. So if you have a different nation, this probably won't work at all. Similarly, how special items work. Yeah, and I think those are all.
It should work everywhere.
Okay. Yeah, because those house types, which are different from the regular string values, are a bit different, I think. But yeah, it might work everywhere. Yeah, it works everywhere because it worked on Great Invasion. Yeah. Okay, so I think I recapped everything and added some additional info which I forgot, but fortunately Emilian Yozenkov reminded me about it. So missions and AI data will be later, and the text folder. So I think that's the end for today. Do you have any questions?
Well, I'm gonna let Snoop here maybe.
No questions.
Okay. So I thought I know this was a dense tutorial. There was a lot of new info for you, especially when you like don't have a C2M file finished yet. So I'm not sure where you're following with your files. But yeah, it's more like a math thing, and you need to remember all of the syntaxes and the stuff. But I hope it was clear. At least.
No, it was mostly clear. The only part I'm not sure, maybe I didn't understand, or I probably have ADHD, so I maybe missed it. The AI of the computers, can we say some things about how they're going to do, or really just the diplomacy and behavior with Citizen?
It's
Ah,
AI
okay,
data
fair, yeah.
section. I can show you how it looks like in different files, but it's gonna be discussed by Andrew later because
Okay,
he's
so another course. Okay.
he's better at this section than me. But you can, for example, disable it. If you would give AI limit of 0 people, he will, I think, not produce any people beside what they have at start. So this is like a simple script which prohibits AI from getting more people than the limit. But there could get more convoluted like this, and that's gonna be explained in the different lesson because the AI data and the like. I would say that's might be kind of a hot take, but in my opinion, AI data and mission data are like 75% of the content of your scripts. Everything else is like a kind of addition. This is like much like the mission data is much more complex. I mean, there's a whole documentation for it. It's written well, really. So it's really easy to explain how you can use it because those are like everything that's interactive, but there are like a lot of things which you can do with that. You can set. I forgot to set the weather. That's also a good thing. The weather, but that's kind of simple. I'm gonna just show you the tutorial and translate on Spotted. So this is the section misc weather with the square brackets, and you just set the rectangle where it should rain. This is the top left corner and the bottom right. I don't know why the project choose those 2 corners, but it should be those 2 opposite. And this is how strong the rain is gonna be. And this is like from 1 to 10,000 in a number, and it can be either a rain that's gonna be set rain rectangle. It could be a sandstorm like in the desert, and it can be snow like set snow rectangle. There are 3 to choose. This tutorial is also in Polish. Yeah.
Well, I can translate it easily.
Yeah. Basically, you can use those 3 as your database. Those 3 documentations.
Okay. My last question was about, you showed us the different nations that we can put, Vikings, Saracens, Byzantine, and Franks. I didn't see Egyptians.
Egyptians are, I think, number 5 when it comes to nation. Let me check that.
I didn't see it in the file you showed us.
Oh, okay, so if you want, it's Egypt, I think. Or I don't know, should it be Y or I? But it looks exactly the same, except you have like an Egypt written as a name of the nation. And for the number, this should be
7.
7? Okay, sorry, it's 7. So the 5 and 6 is werewolf and were snakes.
5 and 6 is nothing, and there's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7.
Yeah, exactly, because now it actually makes sense what I remember about it, because werewolves and were snakes were added before Egyptians.
You're lagging.
Yeah, it's 7. Yuzenkov was right. Those two are rarely used. Maybe if you have something like a dragon land, you want to place them like this kind of map, but except for that, you would use only those.
Okay. I was lost because I was only seeing, the first 4, and there was like.
Yeah, because I quickly put that in the editor, and I didn't have time to add Egyptians as a 5th nation.
No, it's okay, it's okay. No, I mean in the file, not the map.
Okay.
So, yeah, okay.
Okay, sorry for being that long. It was more than 2 hours. Yeah.
It happens.
Okay. So if you don't have any questions, that's all from my side.
Okay.
No questions.
Okay, so the homework for the next meeting would be to... When you're creating the map, you probably want to have more than 4 players. That's right, Snoopy and Water, right? You want to have more on your own maps which you're creating. So for a homework, you can try to play around with player data and maybe add more players there. And if you maybe want to create a map for different nation, you can play around with static objects and see how you can change them to make player 0 be a different nation. So just play around with static objects, player data, and other sections, and just have those sections ready for the next meeting. So all sections except those who have anything to do with strings, because we will discuss it later with text, and you don't need to make map mission data and AI data yet. Just if you want to explore the map, remember to use this line in your first mission. That's quite useful. So the homework would be to have all of those sections except for mission data and AI data and those text finished. Is that all right, or is it too much?
I'm gonna see because, as I said, I'm probably gonna look at the course several times. So
You can always ask. You can feel free to ask questions, because the writing script is more convoluted, and it's common for people to constantly ask questions when they are new in it.
Okay. Yes, there's gonna be some questions for sure.
Yeah. It's not so straightforward as drawing the terrain.
Yes, it's not as intuitive.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Well, now that the course is over, I had one last question, but it's maybe just me. I maybe did something wrong. I tried to, put some Frank's buildings on the map directly, and I don't know why it doesn't allow me to do so. I can only put Viking buildings.
Can you show your scripts on the...
Maybe Water, because you are using the 8th Wonder editor, you have to use the CL mod editor.
I only use a remake editor.
Ah.
That's why I didn't understand.
You mean in the part, you mean you cannot place other buildings as visually editing the stuff in the editor, not in the scripts, right?
In the editor, not in the script. In the editor,
Okay, so-
I can't put Frank buildings, for example.
Even if the player is set to Frank in the button,
I can't put the player into Frank. That's why I'm lost.
you need to make your player be AI, because if it's a human player, the editor won't allow it to be anything different than Viking. But if you would set, let me show this quickly. If you would go to the editor, like here it's Remix. Let's create a new map. If I'm gonna select human player, that has to be Viking. But if it's gonna be AI player, you can change it here.
Okay, that explains.
Yeah, so it has to be.
Yeah, later on you're just going to change like in the Mikkel
Yeah,
was showing like the player thing. You just change it to like whichever you want it to be.
Yeah, just make AI here and later in the text file change it back to a human if you want it to be a human.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's okay. Because yes, I was like, why can't I change a human Viking to Franks? And I was lost.
Yeah, because player zero is considered the actual player that's going to be playing if it's a single player map.
Yeah, the developers are really hard. They're really trying to prevent people from playing anything else than Vikings sometimes.
Which is a shame, really, because it's like the only real flaw of cultures for me is that you can only play Vikings.
Yeah, now we can play another nations, but it's not fully finished of the buildings yet.
Thanks to you guys.
Yeah.
Because without you guys, we couldn't do it.
Yeah. I haven't actually contributed much to that myself. I like my biggest contribution to CN mode was to write those two tools with the behavior calculator and converters. That was my biggest contribution. Like I actually know what's behind those conversions. If you would guys be interested about that, I can explain it. But I know that no one else cares about except for me and Basi. So I don't explain it.
I mean, I'm intrigued by it, but I wouldn't understand anything.
Yeah, because this is basically some magic with those hex editors. Yeah.
Real magic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyway, if this is the end, I am going to.
Yeah. Okay.
take a
So,
time.
sorry for it for
Sorry,
being too long.
But for me, 2 hours was a bit too much. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
I
I couldn't
sorry
follow
for.
through all of it. I'm just probably going to be rewatching the video when I'm going to be doing these things. I mostly already know a couple of things about like already the noted and everything, but I think this was a bit too much. I think this should have been like 2 lessons rather than one.
Yeah, maybe the terrain should be only one lesson and then more for scripting.
Maybe it should have been a bit more spread out
Yeah.
over time.
It's okay, it happens. It's just maybe it was too much information in one course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for the lesson. I'm going to go. Goodbye.
Yeah. Good night.